So my name is Jackie Dudley. I'm the animal ambassador for this educational program, and this is the animal, the northern map turtle.
And how long have you been working with this animal?
So this is actually my first time handling this animal. I started my research on this animal around the beginning of February, but with every show, we work with a different animal.
And then what is so significant or interesting about this particular animal?
Right, so this animal has a lot of cool features. So probably the coolest is where it gets its name. It gets its name from the markings on its carapace. So here we have a model of what a map turtle's carapace or the top shell would look like. And then on the bottom we have the plastron. So it gets its name map turtle because they resemble contour lines like you would see on a map. So in older map turtles, the lines are a little bit fainter and you can really only see them when they get wet. But in new turtles, younger turtles, they are very vibrant and identifiable.
And then what conservation message can your animal help teach children or even adults?
So probably as they are a species of little concern right now, I would say the most important is prevention of it becoming a species of concern. So with a lot of species, you see that nobody really cares about them until they become endangered. Something like the map turtle, they live in so many different areas. So I can motion here to the map. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. They live in a lot of different lakes and ponds and areas like that along the Great Lakes, Delaware River, Susquehanna River, lots of water basins and things like that. So they are very expansive across the United States. And oftentimes you see that animals, people know about them, people see them, but they don't really care about them until they are in danger. So the important thing is understanding, what is important for these animals in their habitats and how different factors can impact them. So then we can be more preventative instead of reactionary with the conservation methods that we take towards it.
And what kind of things can impact their environment that could cause them to become a concern later?
Right, so the number one thing with these turtles, a lot of the issues that we're looking at to potentially become threatening are the same with a lot of species. So one is climate change, especially since they are so heavily involved in the water. They're aquatic and terrestrial, but most of the time they spend their lives in the water. Their life cycle is pretty similar to other turtles, where they they have a tadpole stage, or not a tadpole stage, but they have a small hatchling stage similar to a tadpole stage where they're in the water and things like that. So it's important to think about pollution and different factors of climate change, rising water temperatures and things like that. As to, that's probably the biggest. Also, industrialization, so roadways and, just buildings of houses and things like that could obstruct their habitats are a big deal. Also runoff from agricultural areas, toxics from, waste from plants and things like that, power plant waste, and that's all a factor as well, especially since they are in those major water systems. And as I mentioned, a lot of the things that we see potentially impacting the map turtles are impacting a lot of aquatic and terrestrial species.
If a person is interested in a conservation career based around your animal, what would you suggest for them?
So it's pretty broad because they are both aquatic and terrestrial species. I would say the most general one is going to be your basic biology. So, with that you can sort of go into any field. You could do marine biology, you could do just general. I would say if you want to be a little bit more specific, you could look at ecology. The factors affecting the entire environment as a whole. You can also do environmental science, like myself, as well as conservation and wildlife management. So that's working directly with the environment and the animals in them and how those interact and how to better conserve the spaces for those animals. And then if you're looking to be really specific, I would say something like limnology, which is the study of lakes and ponds and water systems and things like that, if you want to be really specific. Also, since they are in areas like the Delaware River, Susquehanna River, things like that, they're typically around places like national parks. So if you don't want to necessarily do like the research side in, doing testing water samples and things like that, you can also do things on land, like park ranger, working for, the National Park Service in that type of way, and sort of be able to aid in, their safety in that regard, and also just, the well-being of the park in general.
If a person would be interested in that, what type of educational background do you suggest, and then like what type of internships should that person look for?
Right, so I mentioned a little bit before what fields would sort of be good. Typically, they're going to be paired with your educational background as well, so like a biology major, environmental science major, things like that sort of go hand in hand. Another one that I think people don't really talk about a lot is environmental education. So while that's not directly working with the animal and things like that, it is working with educating the public about conservation methods and different ways to go about preserving the world around us. So something like I'm doing right now, or like the other shows that we do, especially with kids, is really important as well. So I feel like when people think of conservation and protecting the animals, they think about something like zoology, zoo science, biology, limnology even, as where they want to go. But education is just as equally important because that's how you facilitate progression.
And then last question,
Yes.
Is there anything else that the audience should know about the animal? Anything cool or interesting?
So they are very social animals, which I think is so cute. So something like this, if we have this as a prop log, they'll do something called herding, which is where essentially it's just a big group of animals. So in this case, a bunch of turtles will gather on a log, and then they will bask together in the sun. So you just see huge groups. I have a photo up here, if you can see it, just huge groups of the turtles together. And another thing with that is, you see that, you think, oh, it's so cute, you want to go up and you want to get a picture, but they are really shy. So they will all just like jump off the log into the water. And I think that's so cute because they're so social, but also so shy when it comes to people and predation. And another thing is, I just want to pick them up for a minute. Another thing is that the gender of the young is actually interpreted by the temperature of the clutch. So 77 degrees ish is going to lead to males, whereas mid to upper 80s is going to lead to more females. In between is kind of going to be a toss-up, but I think that's pretty interesting. There's only a few species whose the temperature depends or directly impacts the gender.